swear if a spider crawls on me, game over. Game over. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided I was going to review the Mortal Instruments first 3 books. I audiobooked these 3 books because I don't own them and I don't want to borrow anything from the library right now other than ebooks or audiobooks. I don't really have a great way to read ebooks right now, and the audiobooks were available for free, so on a whim I just went with it. I decided to film a separate review for these books because I haven't done that yet, and I don't know if I have a lot to say about them, but I know that these books are well loved and people really enjoy them, so I thought I'd give them a whirl. So we're just gonna get down to it. The first book is City of Bones, and this book I liked. My camera is about to die. Gosh darn it, if the universe wasn't against me reading these, I think it's because they knew this review was coming. I totally stubbed my toe getting up and getting my backup battery. Ow. Ow. City of Bones, first book in the trilogy. Well, I say trilogy, I think it's more of a saga or a series because I just discovered today that there's multiple books. I didn't know that. So in the first set of 3 books, City of Bones, I'm going to give this one 4 stars. It was the one that I liked the most out of the 3. I really enjoyed learning about the world and the character building and being introduced to everybody. Ugh, the elements are against me. Plot was okay. So basically we follow 15-year-old Clary, who, spoiler but not spoiler, basically discovers that she is a shadow hunter. And she discovers this because of devastating events that happened, and she is certainly thrust into this new world. Now, one of the things that was really intriguing about this book that kept my attention was her dynamic with the other shadow hunters and her best friend Simon. So Simon is a regular average guy. They call them mundanes in the book, and he basically is just one of those true best friends that are always there for you. It was just interesting to learn about the world as Clary was learning about the world and how it works. So that was a fun aspect. I keep getting interrupted. This is not going well. Okay, as I was saying, I think I was saying that it's interesting to learn about the world as Clary learns about the world. It's not a new way to describe worlds, obviously, but it was just, I feel like, a good way to do it for this new crazy shadow hunter world. I thought it was interesting that you could sense the connection between Clary and Jace right away, but you don't really know why. Why all of a sudden is this shadow hunter guy willing to help her out and risk things to help her out, and that's a little from left field. You don't know why that's going on. You know, I ended up liking that. I mean, obviously it was very clear that they were going to be a love interest. I don't think that's new news, so I'm sorry if that's spoilery. Another thing I liked about the first book was that it was fairly tame in terms of kind of the evil creatures that they come across. Yes, they come across werewolves and vampires, but that's something that I expected going into this book. I don't mind reading about werewolves and vampires, so that was fine. The other evil creatures that shadow hunters fight against, that was fairly tame in this book, and I really liked that because, as everyone knows, I'm a wimpy McWhimpersons and I just can't deal. So I liked that about the first book. So I enjoyed it the most because it was a very good way, I feel, to introduce people into this world, lay some foundation down, have like this running theme through all 3 books, establish all of those things. Of course, there were plot twists and things that you were like, no, that can't happen. But in the end, it was a good read. First book is narrated by Mae Whitman. I did mention this in one of my vlogs. She is the voice for Katara in the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. And she was amazing. She did a bunch of different voices, different accents. I came away from listening to that book with a new appreciation for Mae Whitman. Very, very talented actress. She made the book come to life for me. It was really enjoyable. I kind of felt like it was just like a running movie in my head. And then I remembered there was a movie. I haven't watched it. Well, that's not true. I watched it when it first came out. I haven't watched it since. But apparently it's free on Amazon Prime, in case anybody's interested. The first book, good fun. I don't know if I would ever reread it though. Although I really enjoyed it, I'm not sure that I left the book or the 3 books in general really attached to the characters, so I don't know if it's a reread for me, but it was enjoyable. The second book is City of Ashes, and if you watched my vlog, you will know that I absolutely hated the first 7 minutes of the book. It probably ended the first whole chapter, maybe 2 chapters. Hated it. It was awful. It was awful. Bad. I don't even want to think about it. It was like I'm kind of freaking myself out thinking about how awful it was. It was just it was just so bad. It was just so bad. It was so bad. I don't even really feel like, people are going to disagree with me, I don't feel like it was an integral part of the story. Like, we could have just not heard about that. We could have like learned about it but not have experienced it the way that we did, at least for me, because again, I hated it. It was awful. The rest of the book was a little rough to get through, I'll be really honest. You know, there's a lot more evil creatures in this book than the first one, and there's a lot of description. They're all over the place, and it just was really unsettling to me. Again, it's just not my jam. It's not for me. This isn't like, you know, a thumbs down for the book. You have to understand that that's what you're going to get when you read these books. I did understand that. I knew it was going to happen. I decided to do it anyway. There you go. The book for me is probably a 3-star, a soft 3-star. I think it just wasn't my favorite. I didn't like the plot. Hi, I had to adjust. So I don't really enjoy reading a lot of struggle and angst in young characters. I just feel like it's so unfair when young people deal with heavy things like that. So there were a lot of crazy things going on in that book, a lot of reveals that were just a little jarring to me. I was unsettled on certain parts of the book for sure. However, what made me continue, the plot, like the characters. The characters I do enjoy. I did like learning about their stories. There was enough going on that made me want to know what happened with them versus what happened with the bigger story. You know, what's going on with these mortal instruments, what's going to happen with the villain. I kind of didn't care about that. I more cared about the characters that we've learned about. So Jace and Clary, Simon, Isabel, Alec. You want to know about them. Bane is fun. I like Bane. Bane is good times. That's why I carried on with the second book, just because I wanted to learn about what was happening with them, and that really saved it for me. I probably would have DNF'd this book early on because it was just too intense for me. So something that I was doing was just every time I heard about something, maybe like an action scene or she started describing things, I kind of tuned out and then checked back in to see kind of where the story was and then tuned out. So I know I probably missed some things, but I am not gonna go back and listen to try and figure that out. I don't care. Like, it's fine with me. That's fine. And the third book is City of Glass. Again, I continued on with this book because I wanted to know what happened with the characters, and I did not care what happened with the plot of the bigger picture Mortal Instrument story. I just didn't care. I still kind of don't care. Like, I know that sounds funny. I still kind of just don't care. I kind of predicted some of the things that happened when I was reading. I was like, oh, I know who that is. Oh, I know what's going to happen there. It's also a soft 3-star for me. Not my favorite read. I'm not going to reread it. The evil creatures are even more so in this third book than the other two. It was hard to get through. It was giving me some weird dreams, guys. Like, I had some weird dreams and it was not okay. I cannot deal. I cannot deal. Ending is fine. It's not surprising how it ended. I was never like on the edge of my seat thinking, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh no. None of that really happened for me. Not that I could have predicted every little thing that happened, but I figured it was going to go down in the pattern that it did. So nothing was of a huge surprise to me. I can now say I've read it. I know what people are talking about now in terms of these first 3 books. So yay, but would I recommend it to somebody? Maybe not. If they really liked this kind of dark YA fantasy, maybe, but I'm not into stories with evil creatures. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm really, really sensitive to stuff like that, so was not my jam. Overall, Cassandra Clare, I've never read any of her books before. I don't know if she's actually written anything outside of this world that she's built. One thing I will say about her writing that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. I don't remember what they're called, but you know when an author writes something like, I could see the wind blow across the sky like a wave in the ocean. Those things. How many times does she do that? Y'all, she does that so much. And it was getting on my last nerve. I was like, you know, I don't really need to hear about how green the tree is. You don't have to like describe that it's green like an olive. Like, great, yay. So no wonder why her books are so long. She can't help herself but describe everything that's happening. Some people really love that. It got on my nerves a little bit. I was just like, I felt like she was sticking those in anywhere she could. You could cut some of those out and it would be just fine. It would be just fine. Another thing that I have to say is Clary. Clary. I love her, but I don't love her. You know what I mean? Like, I really like the fact that she's headstrong and determined and really wasn't afraid to do what she thought was right, especially in this whole new world. I found it really interesting that, you know, she's 15 years old and she finds that she's a shadow hunter and there's all this other world that she never knew about or didn't acknowledge existed, and yet she just fell right into it as if it was natural. I find that interesting when that happens. I think that in real life, I don't know if people would really be like, oh, this is just a thing. I don't know. But at the same time, people do what they got to do to survive. So here's the thing, is sometimes I felt like she was super selfish. She didn't always think about other people. It was always about what she wanted to do and what she felt she needed to do and her agenda. And it didn't matter about what other people were telling her. You know, these other people that have been shadow hunters their whole lives, and they're telling her, you can't do that, or don't do that, or don't do it that way. You need to be wary of this, and we're warning you about this. And she just ignored it most of the time, if not all the time. And to me, that's a little frustrating, because it's just like, listen, yay for you for being determined and independent, but you also have to listen to other people. Sometimes it will save you some grief. And there were times that if she had just listened, it would have saved her a lot of grief. And the relationship between Clary and Jace, I liked, because I liked Jace. The way that Mae Whitman portrayed Jace in the first book made him very appealing. She gave him an English accent, by the way. How old was he? 17? 18? Because he could fight. So 18. He was at least 18. She was 15 and he was 18. Interesting. I thought that dynamic was interesting, because you could tell that there was a big pull with Jace towards Clary, and it was like, well, why? Like, why did this person feel so compelled to help her out? She was brand new to the world. She was a mundane, which are people that aren't shadow hunters or magical or anything. Much like muggles. It wasn't like thought-provoking at the same time. It just made it intriguing and will they, won't they type of scenario. That was fun. I felt like the Lightwoods, Isabel and Alec, they didn't get a whole lot of, you know, screen time, if you will, in these books. I would have liked to have learned more about them, like their parents, and why are they all in this institute without their parents? I mean, we know why, but really why? Like, why is this okay? You know, because they have a little brother who's young. So there's like these 3 kids living in this institute with this old guy, and their parents are elsewhere, and then they've got Jace, and then Clary comes in. It just, definitely not realistic scenarios. But then again, we're talking about Shadowhunter world, so whatever. So I went on this website to find out in what order I should read all of these books. The next book that it suggests is the Red Scrolls of Magic. It's about 2 of the characters that are in the Mortal Instruments first trilogy. So I did start it on Scribd. So far it's okay. Actually no, so far it's good. But I am only 2 chapters in. So that means she's probably going to ease us into it, and it's going to be super, super dark. I don't know if I'm going to continue. I'm just going to put that disclaimer out now. I don't even really know why I started it. Maybe because I don't know what else to listen to. That could be it. I'm not that interested in learning about what happens after this last book. Like, I'm not that interested. I'm kind of done. I don't know if I'm gonna keep going. I'm more doing it out of curiosity than anything else. I just want to know what the whole hype is. Like, why do people enjoy these books so much? They were okay. They weren't great. I'm not raving about it. Again, I probably wouldn't like recommend it to a bunch of people. It's just, they're just okay. So I think that's all I have to say. I'll probably think of a lot of more things to say after I stop this video, probably as I'm editing. Oh, I should have said that. But this is my first like dedicated review, so it's as cringy as I thought it would be. I'm trying so hard. I'm just leaving these books like, meh, it's okay. It ended the way I thought it would. The website that I found says to read the Red Scrolls of Magic next, and then hop into the Infernal Devices, and then hop into the 4th, 5th, and 6th books of Mortal Instruments. I don't know if I'll get there. I just don't know if I'll get there. I have heard the Infernal Devices is better than the Mortal Instruments. But am I really that curious to find out? I don't think I am. There is no anticipation here for me. I don't feel like there's a loss for me to not know what happens next. Which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad when there's, you know, such a big fandom around a series, but it was not for me, guys. It was not for me. I didn't think it would be, to be very honest. I didn't really have high expectations. My main expectation when I started these was I probably wasn't going to finish. So honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself for finishing the first 3, because Lord knows I was about ready to jump into a bath of holy water. I was like, I gotta cleanse. Like, things are happening and I don't like it. That's it. That's my review of the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments saga. Let me know your thoughts down below. Have you read the series? Did you like it? What did you really love about these books? I really want to know what it is. I'm sure you guys will have some great insights, much better ones than I have. But again, you know, I'm not mad that I did it. So there's a thumbs up for you. But as always, thank y'all so much for checking out my video and joining me today. I hope y'all are doing well and staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.